I can hear you now.
My phone rang and it totally kicked me out. It didn't kick me out, it kicked the sound off. I can't see you though.
Yeah, I haven't added you yet.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
wonder why it does that. So if it happens again, what do I do?
I don't know. Put it on Do Not Disturb.
Can I do that? How the fuck do I do that?
If you have an iPhone, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I got it. Well, hopefully this doesn't happen again. If it does, I'll have to go out and come back in.
All right. Here we go. Hold on one sec. What is up, guys? I am your host, Luis Martinez. You will know me as the owner and driver of Nucky Johnson, the 66 turbocharged Chevy 2. Going to be doing something a little different every week, every Wednesday, tuning in at 7 p.m. Basically, we're going to be talking about racing, primarily drag racing, grudge racing, things like that. Yeah, we'll just see how this goes every week. And if we could get a good following, we'll just keep this going every week with new guests and things like that. So, without further ado, I'm going to introduce my first guest, well, my only guest, I should say, for episode 1. It's Ricky Wilson. You know him as the owner of Kamakai, the LS turbocharged Mustang. Let's bring him on board. What's up, Ricky?
What's up, Luis? How are you?
Good. How are you, man?
Good, good. So I'm your first guest, right?
First guest. Yeah. I figured it'd be appropriate since you got a big win this past weekend. So
yeah. I mean, you and I go way back, so it's pretty appropriate. We're pretty tight, and it's pretty appropriate to have me on the show with you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on. So
absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about this awesome photo from Saturday.
So yeah, we man, anybody that knows us, I think there's a handful of people that know who we are. We struggled a lot with the car. When we first brought the car out about 2.5 years ago, we built it for the No Clock Street series. Mm-hmm. The car was tagged, it had a radiator, it had a small little stock block motor in it, turbo, power glide, and the car did well, right? And there you have it, right?
Was that it right there?
That's it right there. That's when we first brought it home. Yeah. We actually bought the car from a guy out of almost to Pennsylvania, Upper Maryland, and he was building the car for a no prep car. And he, was going through a divorce or something. I don't know this whole story, but we ended up snagging the car. The car had a pretty decent cage in it, had a real nice rear end, some nice wheels, and we, at the time, it just sold. We had a Pro Mod. Mm-hmm. And we got rid of the Pro Mod. We had my little brother Chevy too. And we wanted to do some small tire stuff. We wanted to go to the no time racing. So we grabbed old Kamakai. Nice. Grabbed that piece that you saw there, and she became what she is now. So, but anyway, we struggled a lot last year. We never had a problem with power. We had a problem with suspension and getting down the track. The car would go really fast, one pass, and then wouldn't go down the track 4 or 5 passes. So.
Yeah, you guys really struggled, especially last year, man. I don't know how you didn't just say fuck it, like I'm done, like well, you know what I mean.
there was many times that we almost did. I was actually on all over Yellow Bullet classifieds and stuff looking for another car.
Yeah, this is definitely a sport where you get beat over the head 9 times out of 10. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I have high respect for anybody that does drag racing because, again, like you lose more than you win. You know, you
Hmm.
break stuff more than you win. And you know, people that drag race just keep, you know, they just keep going to keep working on their program, their car and stuff. And that's like the ultimate definition of perseverance. You know what I mean? So it's,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a different ball game for sure.
And what people don't realize is, you talk to people that are ignorant to the sport, and I don't mean that in a negative way. Ignorant means not knowing, right? They
Right.
don't- they think, oh, you just drive straight. How hard can it be? It's not like NASCAR, and you run for 250 laps. It's so much more than just driving straight. There's so much that these teams and these guys put in these cars, and then especially nowadays with how much power,
Yeah.
all the technology, and just if you don't have a good team, you cannot do it by well. I shouldn't say you can't do it by yourself. You cannot compete on a level that we all want to compete on
Right.
alone. You got to
Yeah.
have a team. You guys have an amazing team, and to tell you the truth, um, I get emotional a lot talking about this. If I didn't meet you and Mike Dent and Jared and Billy Gordon and all them last year when we were doing the 275 stuff, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. I mean,
Yeah.
we've always been a race team and we've been fast in pro mods and we've been fast in other cars. We couldn't figure it out in this 275, small tire stuff. Even though we ran X 275, but back then, 470s was fast.
Yeah.
2012.
Yeah.
That's insane. We don't talk times, but what are 275s running now? 14s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and
No,
honestly, if it wasn't for, and a lot of it was some of the guys we picked up, help from your team, Eric Gold and Don. If it wasn't for them guys, we'd still be struggling.
yeah.
So
It's
we
I made a post after this Saturday's event about, you know, how much fun I had, and I wasn't even in the car. You know what I mean? I
and
had,
sometimes sometimes that's the best because I used to love, like, if we got knocked out and you guys were still in it with Black Friday or Big Man. I mean, I used to love being at the line with you guys and helping you guys and watching you get on the track. It's a lot of fun.
yeah. So like and basically going back to what you just said, like I think it's because of all the great people that we met along the way and we race with. Like, yeah, we race against each other, but like when I go to the racetrack, you know, especially you know, at Big Fred's races and things like that, I feel like it's a one big family. Like, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's just, you know, everyone just gets along for the most part and we have a good time. You know, we're competitive, but you know, at the end of the day, after the dust settles, we're all friends and we all have like beers together and things like that.
Oh yeah.
All
We
right,
we
I have an annoying dog that just yaps whenever an Amazon truck
Well,
just.
well, well. Mine's in trouble in the cage because when I was getting ready, it decided to poop on my floor. My, my little, my little. Yeah, he's over there.
So before we get started with some questions and this and that, guys, if you're watching this, please like this, share it as much as possible, comment, ask any questions. Um, you know, it kind of brings the algorithm up and you know, gets us more viewers and things like that. So don't be afraid to ask questions and things like that. So you talked a little bit about your start in racing. I have a picture here. I want to pull it up. Give me 1 second. Um,
Well, Lewis, where is this being streamed? Can you tell the people where it's being
oh,
streamed or what
yeah,
platforms?
you could watch this on YouTube at the race show. You can watch this on my Instagram. You can watch this on DMV Grudge, DMV No Time Heavy Hitters Group, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch.
Oh wow, it's out there.
It's out there. Yeah. um, hold on. I want to pull up a photo here. I think I saw like. Here we go. Tell
Oh
me
yeah,
about tell me about that thing, the funny
that
car.
that was that
That's
that
not
was
a
an out.
275 car.
No, no, that was an alcohol funny car back in the '90s.
So was that your dad's?
That was my uncle. So we had a race team. We had that. We had a pro stock, and we had an alter, a blown alter that were all painted the same, Wilson Racing, and we traveled, to Bristol and Budds Creek and Englishtown and VMP, and
That
yeah, it
thing?
was there's one of the alters there. Yep. So we've
So
been around a long time. A lot of the people in the no time the grudge scene, don't they? Oh, these guys are new. No, we're not new. We've been around a long time. My father's been racing since I was 6, 7 years old. going to Buzz Creek before even Royce Miller owned it. You know,
Larry, Larry McKenzie said 2 turtles.
slowest guy in North Carolina, right? What's up, Larry?
Always talking shit. I love it.
He is, he is. But no, yeah, I mean, we're a race family, true and true. All of us, all the our dad obviously is the leader of the pack. He he gave it to us honestly, and you know, my brother Corey and myself are more the racers than my other two brothers. But they've all had cars too, more street cars, Corvettes, Supras, Mustangs. We're just gearheads.
That's awesome. So I'm pulling up another car. What's this
Yep.
one?
That was our latest pro mod that we had. It was a Brad Anderson powered pro mod. It was actually and you might have the picture. It was a 63 split window, and the car was making a pass, and the oil tank separated and got oil underneath of it, and the car hit the wall. So destroyed the 63 split window. There we go. And
Yeah.
that's what methanol looks like when it catches on fire.
Yeah, that's a
So
scary sight for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. The car was a 63 split window, and I say we, my father had it rebuilt. There we go. My father had it rebuilt, and it became the car that you just showed, which was the 67 Camaro, 68 Camaro. So
Wow.
that was a fun car. Probably my favorite car we've ever had. But people that have ever dealt with Hemis, and you're getting ready to do it,
Yeah.
they're a lot of work. I mean, you
Yeah.
talk about a team. I mean, in between rounds with the clutch and the air gap, and it's just so much work to those cars. And we were kind of getting burned out. We were struggling with that car. It went pretty fast, but on that level, when you're racing against, you know, those guys, it's super, super hard. And we struggled for about a year with that car too, and ended up selling it to a guy in Florida. And I think he went no time racing with it.
Okay. What about this one?
So that's our 63. I say ours, it's my little brother's car. Legit true street car. It's a
Mhm.
turbo LS. It's been down for about a year now. My brother, had a couple babies and building a house and stuff. So the cars are sitting in the garage right now. We have a motor that we have freshened up and ready to put back in it. It'll come back and it'll run in the heavy hitter street class. But that car is a legit Lewis street car. He's got a baby seat in the back seat, and it's not for show. His babies will ride around the street and go to Cars and Coffee and stuff with it. It's a neat ride to be able to take your family and drive to the donut shop on a
Yeah.
Sunday with them, and then go to the racetrack and click off a number that's competitive and heavy hitter street. Which
I remember seeing that car. I think it was the first event you ever did for the
yes,
DMV No Time Heavy Hitters. I think it was at
yep.
Capitol or whatever.
When you had the Nova,
Um,
the other Nova.
yeah. I think, and I saw it in person. I was like, "Whoa, that's a clean car."
Yeah, my dad actually bought that car. It was a big hunk of junk when he got it from the guy. Restored it from the ground up. It was a nitrous car for a little while, this little street car, and my brother bought it from my dad, and put an LS in it with the turbo, and there she went. From there, it just started the bug got him, and he just started going faster and faster. And we've raced Avon and Billy Brown back when he was, nitrous with that car. That car did very well.
Um, and what about this one?
Oh yeah, that was me at World Cup. So that was our that was our X275 car, Pro Charge car, small block Ford. It did pretty well back in 275, but 2011, 2012, 2013. It showed time obviously because it was X275. It was a 460, 470, 480 car, which was competitive back then.
Oh
If you
yeah.
look at those cars now, man, they're in the 420s, high 14s.
Yep.
It got insane.
Marquise just went. What was it, like
Six,
414 or something like
yeah,
that? Or
14, 15, or yeah, something like it with
yeah,
a nitrous car.
yeah, that's crazy. So
Some,
them nitrous guys, when they ask for a spot, yeah, don't give them a spot.
no, you know what? That's the funny thing. Like I was joking around, and I wasn't happy. We were in the lanes up with, and I was with you guys up at Cecil when Black Friday went out there with Jeff Rogers, JJ, and them. They said, "Yeah, we got a grudge race. We want to go up and give it a shot." And I said, "What's the race?" He said, "We got to give them the leave." I said, "Are
Yeah,
you crazy? Have you lost your mind?" And he said, "We're going to try it. We're going to give it a shot."
yeah, and
And
that's not even, I'm sure their car doesn't weigh at X275 race weight. You know what I mean?
oh no, no, and I can tell you, Jeff Rogers, that car is top notch. That car has got it's got a badass setup in it, and that's no slouch. And I think I commend little Patrick for going out there and trying it, but I wouldn't have gave that race up.
Marquise said he went 412.
Oh, now he's got to rub it in, right, Marquise? So you just made it worse, right? You went to 412 and that thing. Marquise is my buddy, man. We joke back and go back. Marquise has been around a long time. Yeah, 412 is fast, right?
Yeah, for sure. Especially for
nitrous.
X275 at that weight and everything. And I mean, the nitrous cars get a big break, but it's still, you know what I mean, for
But even with the weight break they get, that is so impressive.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, there's no way. I would love to try Jeff Rogers, but just because I'm turbo, I will not. The only race I'll do with him is heads up.
Yeah.
Because I do not feel that, because I'm turbo, I should give a nitrous car anything. Now, if I had a big cubic inch, big turbo motor, then we can talk. But no, I can't give that guy anything.
I was at the starting line. You probably, I don't know if you were too. No, you were in your car. I was at the starting line when that race happened. And
I was at the other end. I was down there. I was watching. I wanted to see.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And all I saw was headlights, and I said, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
And it was. I mean, it was bad. It scared the hell out of me because they're very close to us. They're like family to us.
Yeah, same. So, when I saw little Pat lose control, I was just clenching my fist, like, because it was like happening in the middle of the track, and I'm like, please don't go to the side, and he kept it straight. You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, that guy can drive.
You know as well as anybody. You had that incident down at OBX last year. It's totally out of your control. Once that happens, there's not a lot you can do. I don't care how good of a driver you are. By that point, it's just the grace of God. Like, man, Jesus, take the wheel. And thank God that we race at some tracks, and I've been to some tracks that are very, very tight, and it makes me a little nervous. But thank God that Cecil's wide like that, because if it wasn't, if it was somewhere down, I don't want to throw any tracks under the bus, but some of the tracks that are more narrow, that car's gone.
Yeah, because Piedmont is narrow. You know what I mean? And Piedmont's a great track. Don't get me wrong. It's a fast track, but
it's narrow. You see Jared on here talking about call me an old fart.
Yeah. Mike Dent said going fast is a lot of work.
I mean,
he knows better than anyone. He has a new car in his program. They've been testing that car for a little bit, and finally it looks like it's starting to come around. But it wasn't like, it wasn't like, oh, let's set this up and then let's go fast. You got to put a lot of work in, and it's owning a race car is just like owning a business. You just got to persevere.
Yeah, he bought a very nice setup car, beautiful car. Yeah. Everybody knows the car that Mike got, right? And he went out the first couple times out, and it just like we had, the car would make an incredible pass, and he would struggle. And I think this past weekend down at Mike Hill's race, he made it to the quarterfinals. And Mike and I talk, and I think he's got that thing heading in the right direction. So he's going to be one of the ones to look out for. Mike doesn't, Mike doesn't give up, and he's part of our family. He won't be as much this year because he's in the Mike Hill series, but he doesn't have give up in him. He's going to rock and roll, and he's going to do what he's got to do to get to the top.
Yeah, no, I agree. Jared said if he wants to go fast, he will put a small block Ford in it.
Let me tell you something. I raced Mo in the finals, and I like Mo a lot. They're a good family, but I'll tell you what, Jared, they're on your heels. They're coming for you.
He also said when we were talking about racing cars and like being a business owner, you can't make money at it. Well, you can, just very few people that do it. And if you're actually starting, everybody always asks me, I'm going to put a shameless plug in here. Everybody always asks me like, hey, Lewis, like, how do you get all these sponsors and things like that, right? So I'm going to be starting a new company. It's launching probably within the next week or two. It's called 660 Marketing. I'm going to be helping out racers get sponsorships. So awesome. Be on the lookout for that. To me, like, I'm a nobody. You know what I mean? I don't think I've done much yet. Even though we won some last year, I don't think we have, like, I guess, stamped our footprint yet. But I do get a lot of help from companies, and that's just because I follow a certain process. and anybody can do the same thing I do. As long as you
Well,
follow the process, I can teach that process.
and my father and I were talking about it today on the drive to work. He calls me almost every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. We're heading to work, and we were talking about that. And I said, you know what, Lewis works. You know, he works, and he puts the time in, and he puts the effort in, and he chases the sponsors, and he follows up. And it's, you know, I take my hat off to you. I don't, you know, people see that, oh, you know, Lewis has got this sponsor, he's got that sponsor. They didn't fall in your lap, that's for sure. Now,
Yeah.
did you get some attention last year? Nucky got a lot of attention. People heard that Nucky was coming. Oh, Nucky's coming, Nucky's coming. Same with Black Friday. You know, you go out and you win some races, you look good, you look consistent, and you're going to start getting that attention. But besides that, you put the work in, and I commend you for that. So I'll be one of your first guys, you know, chasing the sponsorship and asking for your advice, because it's hard to do alone. You know, it's hard. It's just me and my father.
Yeah.
He's got a new car he's building. It's gonna be, it's gonna look, when we go to the track, we're gonna look a lot alike, right? It's a 67 Chevy too, and you got the 66. It'll be the same color as Kamakai, except the roof will be black. And
So
it's gonna be a big
what's the name of that car?
Sicario.
Sicario. Okay, so I saw it. I
Sicario.
saw it a bunch of times, you know, via Facebook, like the name, but I didn't know
Mhm.
how to. I didn't know how to pronounce it. Um, how did you come up with that name?
Honestly, it's one of my favorite movies. So Sicario is there's Sicario too. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's actually, it means a hitman. So it's like a Spanish hitman. So I was, you know, I was watching that movie, and it came to me that night, and I, of course, the family had talked about what the new car name was going to be. And, you know, my dad was like, oh, we're going to call it Kamakai 2.0. And I was like, nah, now we're come up with something. We're going to call it, what's the actor? What was Bruce Willis, but from Die Hard? What was his name? John McClane. It was,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
we thought about that. We thought about Lawless. Lawless was kind of cool. And I was watching. I said, you know what? Sicario. It's the Hitman. So
That's
that
awesome.
it's stuck. And then if you look at the picture that I put up, that's from the movie of the guy, the skull holding it. That'll be in the back window. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that car. We're trying. I say we. My father he's heading it up. I help him out as much as I can on, because I'm more or less taking over the Mustang. He's trying to have it. I'm second in line. Left out loud. He's Jared is very good with sponsorships too. He's trying to have the car out this year. It's a lot of work, Jared. I mean, Lewis, you know, you're changing your whole combination around.
Yeah. No. It's it's it's
What's up,
exciting.
Dodson?
It's yeah, it's exciting but scary at the same time. Changing my whole combo around because it's new. We don't, you know, it's something that the whole team is not used to, obviously. So it's going to be definitely a learning process. You know, we're not. I don't expect us to come out and just kill it. You know what I mean? I expect us to come out and struggle,
Yeah, yeah.
especially our first year. But that's the name of the game. You know what I mean? Just sticking with it and ironing out the bugs and what have you. So I never asked you, uh, where did Kamakai come from? The name.
So we didn't have a name for the car either, right? So we weren't sure what we were going to call it. And one of our good friends that grew up with my baby brother lives down in towards like Virginia Beach right now. We were all throwing these names around, and some were kind of goofy, some were okay. He's like, man, that thing looks like a shark. I was like, huh? He's like, your car looks like a shark. You know, it looks like it's got that gray color to it. He said, you know what? Kamakai. I said, what the hell is, I thought it was like kamikaze, right? He's like,
Yeah.
no, Kamakai. It's the largest tiger shark in the ocean. And he showed me a
Oh,
picture. I
okay.
said, you know what? There it is. There it is, Kamakai. Now
Nice.
it's cool, and it's also not, because everybody fucks the name up. They call it kamikaze, you know, Fred and Dotson definitely fuck it up all the time. You know, so but it was something different, you know, and I thought it was fitting with the color of the car, and you know, it's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, no, it's a great name, for sure. I, in my opinion, you probably have one of the nicest 28 275 cars, um, you know, in the pits. It's super clean all the time. Like, God forbid if it has a fingerprint on it. You know what I mean? Like, look at
You
that
don't.
thing.
It's definitely a pretty car, and you know what you gotta watch. You gotta watch my dad, because he'll see us wipe it. Me and Oliver and I. Oliver's the guy on my crew. He always, you know, tries to help me keep it clean, and I'm very OCD. I shouldn't label myself, but I'm very OCD. You can ask Jared. Like my cord for the Holly that you plug in to pull your data from. After Jared's done, he just throws it in the floorboard of the passenger seat. And I go back and I wrap it up and I take the Velcro strap and I strap it to the roll cage. He's like, what are you doing? We're gonna take it back out. And after the next, I'm like, leave it alone. Because when I get in the car, I want everything to be right. And once everything's right, I'm good. I don't like my door opened up. I don't like people messing me. Line me up, leave me alone, let me concentrate. But yeah, so my father will come up now. He purposely takes his hand and he'll put it on the hood of the car, or put it on I think he does it on purpose to mess with me. But, we're pulling the transmission out after we went down to Carolina. We didn't have high gear. We went the whole race with no high gear. We get home from the long trip. We pull it straight into the garage. We get it up on the lift. We're pulling the transmission out, and I'm wiping bars down. I'm cleaning bars, wiping. My brother's like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's not bothering you. Leave me alone. It makes me feel good. So, yeah, we do try to keep it clean, though. It's not the best car out there, but we try to keep it looking nice for the fans.
I'm totally opposite. Like, I hate cleaning cars. So like my car might look like a piece of crap sometimes. It look good. It looks good in video and photos, but like, you could probably wipe your finger on like the wheel or something, and it's probably all dusty and stuff.
Oh no, I'll get back, and as I'm pulling the dad out, I'm wiping the rim. So the funny thing is, like, my dad's like, it's a race car, but you watch when his Chevy 2 comes out, he's gonna have that thing like barricades around it. He's a little different when it comes to like something like that.
So let's pull the curtain back a little bit. I want to give people a perspective on like what goes on behind the scenes. So like, what do you do for a living to afford this hobby, this expensive hobby? I guess give people an insight of like, what's an everyday type of day for Ricky Wilson.
So, I'm just, I turned 50 last year. I work in the construction industry. I'm an operations manager. So I work for a company that builds, we do a lot of infrastructure work, right? So I have a bunch of crews, a bunch of projects that I run for them. I make a pretty good salary. By no means am I well off. I mean, I work for my money. We used to own a company, some dump trucks and stuff that we did, a little better. We all worked full time. My father's pretty much the same thing that I am, same kind of role. My brother was involved also. He works for DC Water. So that extra company, when it was lucrative, really helped out the racing. That company started becoming more of a pain in the ass and losing money and trying to find drivers. We ended up selling that also. It hurt the racing a little bit.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me being, pretty well established in my life as far as my kids, and I got one little boy that's 10 now, so I'm still a single dad. I got a daughter in college, but if it wasn't for me setting myself up to be, pretty comfortable, I wouldn't be able to do this because it's expensive. I mean, if you think about this, and as well as I do, just to go to the racetrack, to pay for Friday for testing, to pay for the entry for Saturday, to pay for the screw ups that I did by burning up the ECU and all that stuff, pay for the fuel, pay for new tires and everything else, you're talking $3,000.
Yeah. And how far are you from Cecil?
2 hours and 25 minutes. So I spent $350 in fuel for the RV.
Right.
And anytime we go anywhere, and my father helps, because he'll come out of his pocket and he'll help too. But I pay for the guys to eat, and I pay for them, for us to go to breakfast, and it's a lot, Yeah. And I'm fortunate enough, like I said, to be in a position where I can afford to do what we do. You know.
Yeah.
Could I do it on a pro mod level? No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You got to have major sponsorships, or you got to have a business where it's very lucrative and it's doing very well. But for what we're doing, we like it. We enjoy it. It's probably the funnest class that we've had. We can afford to do it.
Yeah.
If we hurt a motor, it does hurt. It hurts to buy a block. If you go and buy a Noonan block, right off the bat, you're spending $13,000 just for the block.
Yeah. No, I agree. So Walter asks, who's going to drive the Nova you guys are building?
It'll probably be me. I mean, we're going to try to. It'll probably be me, because my father and I we're building this Noonan motor, which was going to go in the Mustang.
So you're going to put Walter in the Mustang?
We'll probably put my baby brother in the Mustang, Corey.
Nice.
Corey's a driving fool. He drove the Pro Mod. He drove the blown altered. Corey's a really good driver, so we'll probably, if we take both cars, Corey will probably go and probably drive the Mustang.
You're going to need a stacker.
Either that or another trailer, right?
Yeah.
So
um,
I think it'll be cool because both cars will be the same color, and having them in the pits together. And I can promise you, we already got the wheel combo set up. We've already got the color scheme set up. I can promise you that both cars on the property side by side is going to be it's going to be sight to see.
yeah, it's I mean already that car, the Nova, is already looking real good. You know, you got it like really low to the ground, just like mine, and you
Yep.
know you got the big wheels on it. You know, with the small tire, and I just love a good looking small tire car. You know what I mean? Um, but it's gonna look badass for sure.
Yeah, I can't lie. I mean, I've one of my favorites all time growing up was Pro Mods. Like Scotty Cannon was my favorite Pro Mod driver. My son's name is Cannon. Um, but you, a small tire car to me is the best looking car out there. It's the closest looking car to a real car, but they're super fast. I mean, they're running 360s,
Right.
So it's Reese. Reese said I got a microfiber. Yep, I keep a microfiber towel in the car with me. So, but no, it's going to be a good looking car. We had it's got a Mark Williams rear. It was a big tire car when my father bought it. So we had to reach out to some different people and have these custom wheels made with this 1 inch offset, and it's going to be a lot of work put in the car, but it's going to be a nice car. It's going to be light with a gangster ass motor and a gangster ass turbo. So be
Yeah.
prepared. We're gonna be coming too.
I mean, I'm scared. You know.
No, you're not. I know what you got. You're not scared.
Well, you gotta remember, like, you know, yeah, I might have a Hemi, but I gotta get down the track just like any of you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can
Yep.
have, you know, all the horsepower in the world, but if you can't plant it to the ground, then what? You know what I
And
mean?
that and that's like I was talking to your tuner and Jared and Eric tune my car collectively also. I'll say, man, Lewis came off of a very good high. Last year was a high. You won a lot of stuff. You went to a lot of finals. The car did very well, got a lot of attention. I said, I hope he knows there's going to be a learning curve because that when you double the horsepower, it's going to double the problems, right?
Yeah. No, I totally know it's going to be a learning curve. And that's been honestly, that's been my whole life is learning and adapting and getting my head beat into the ground. And you know, it's just my life has not been easy. Even though, like, you know, I came from a good upbringing where like my parents pretty much gave me whatever I needed. You know what I mean? Not whatever I wanted, but
Right, right,
whatever I needed.
right.
Um, you know, I had a good upbringing, but it's not been easy to get where I'm at. You know what I mean in life. So I know it's going to be a learning curve. You know, and it might take a couple years. You know what I mean? So
And then now with the team you guys have and knowing the tuner and knowing the chassis guy, it won't take a couple of years. No way, no way. You're being a little bit modest. It might take a couple months, and
yeah,
even then, that's a might. The car worked before, and trust me, the picture that I've seen of that thing, when you said we're coming for everybody at the banquet, they're coming. I can
yeah,
promise you guys that. I won't spill any beans, but Mr. Martinis and Nucky is coming.
yeah. Well, I heard Marquise. I, I know he drives for Josie, right? He drives that car, or whatever. But that's definitely one of the cars I definitely want to line up against. But I heard that that car is gone.
It's
I don't
sold.
know.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
sold Josie Wells.
yeah. So maybe they have something else coming that I
A
don't know
little
about.
birdie told me Marquise has something coming. I can't spill any beans,
Yeah,
but he has something coming. Marquise is gonna, and he's always gonna be on top. You know.
yeah, yeah. So I definitely, you know, my dream is to line up against guys like that. You know what I mean? The best of the best, and
Yeah.
just see where I fit. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
the combo you have should be able to sit with them guys. That's for
yeah,
sure. Billy Gordon's got a new combo coming out.
yeah,
He'll be
yeah,
out. I mean, he's already a proven guy. Billy's the man. Billy does everything to his car himself, from painting to header building to rebuilding the car to everything. Billy does it all, and he's gonna shock a lot of people too. He's already shocked a lot of people, but he's gonna show some people this year too. It's gonna be a whole new Billy Gordon. Billy was fast last year. Billy's gonna be stupid fast this year. There's not a car on 275s that I wouldn't bet against with Billy.
I ran him at the last Big Fred race last year, I think it was,
Oh
in the
yeah, yep.
final. And you know, I'm sure he allowed me to leave on him, you know what I mean? Because he knew he was faster. So I left on him, didn't see him at first. And then all of a sudden, I just see this fucking bullet like pass me. And I literally was just like, I felt like throwing my hand. Like, if my car wasn't as fast, I would have thrown my hands up and just been like, what the fuck? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I just see this bullet just like, boom, you know what I mean? And it made my car feel like a bracket car. You know what I mean?
Oh, you
Like,
got to tell me. I ran against him down at Piedmont, and when he puts, I can't. I'm not gonna talk numbers. When he pulls away from you, and your car's motoring pretty good mile an hour, you're like, did this thing cut off? What the hell?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
insane how fast that car is. And Billy's a great guy. He's a great guy. He treats me and Jared and all them guys really good. Billy's been there for us when we burnt the transmission up at Fred's race, and we yanked it out at the track, and we ran it down there. Um, yeah, Billy fixed it for us that night. Jared ran it down there and had it back the next day, and it's been awesome. Black Friday said he will give you the leave. He'll give me to leave or give you to leave.
I don't know.
I'll take the leave. No, actually, that's the funny thing. Like my dad has a very different view than I do. If I got to take a spot, I don't want to race you.
Yeah,
People, you're not a true grudge racer. Maybe I'm not, but if I got to take a spot, and this doesn't mean people that take a spot, and I'm not taking anything away from you guys. If I got to take a spot, I feel like I already lost. So I'd rather run you heads up and take my chances.
yeah. It's almost like spots and things like that. It's almost like bracket racing. You know what I mean? It's like,
Hmm.
why don't you just run off a bracket tree then? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And to
but
each their own, right? To each their own. I'm not bad mouthing the listen, money math mystery, they call it, right? And I'm not
yeah,
bad mouthing anybody that takes a spot. I just don't want to. And you've never seen me take a spot ever.
right.
And you won't. I'll call Red Rock before I take a spot.
I'm the same way. Let's talk a little bit about. So you have a brand and you have your own race.
Yeah.
DMV No Time Heavy Hitters,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, what made you come up with that? Talk a little bit about that. I know you have a race coming up. What made you start that?
So, a few years ago, where are we in now? 2024. When was the first race at Capital? 2022, I think it
Yeah, I
was.
think it was like it might have been 2021 because I think we were fresh
It
out
might
of COVID.
it might have been. At the time, there wasn't a lot out there in the DMV area for us to race in, especially the street style guys, right? So I reached out to Capital, and I promoted the shit out of that, and that was actually a very successful event. That was the first event. You were there. A lot of people came to that. The track
Mhm.
wasn't the best, but the event was successful. And I said, you know what? I want to start. I was watching Carolina No Time, and I was
Mhm.
watching the success that Lance has. I said, we don't have that here. We don't have a brand for DMV that when we go to Florida or we go to South Carolina and we go to North, all these other tracks, that we can represent like Carolina No Time. I have tons of Carolina No Time stuff. When
Yeah.
they come to our house, they have this. They're proud. They're wearing this Carolina No Time. We didn't
Yep.
have that. I said, you know what?
Yep.
Let me start something. We're gonna be heavy hitters. We're gonna show these guys what's up, and that's how it kind of came into fruition. And I started just doing the series, and I'm like, you know what? I was tired of like all these different stipulations. Like, I'm getting rid of the steps. Let's do it very simple. Run what you brung. No wheelie bars on a 28. Let's get busy.
Yep.
So it started, and it's done very well the first year or two. It's kind of slacking off now, which I'm a little disappointed. Not so much the street guys, but the 28 guys. We don't seem to have the 28s. What's up, Sammy? Um, we don't seem to have the 28s in the area that want to step up and run it. So I'm struggling to get. We have like 18 cars in the big boy class at Capital, and I'm struggling to get 4 to 6 cars for the race in 2 weeks. So disappointing. Not going to give up yet. Sponsorships are hard to get right now, so a lot of times, the money on top. Because I don't do the event. My events are usually just piggybacks to like Door Wars or something like the OBX is mine and Dorsey's race. So it's a little different for that, and we have a little more money. We can put up 20,000 to win, right?
Right.
So that's how that all came. It was somewhere to give guys to race.
So, do you think because I know Big Fred has his race happening the same weekend as yours? Do you think that could be a like conflict. Some guys are going over there, and then some guys are going to yours.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I tried. We put our schedule out very early because MIR reaches out early, and I had to get dates from them. So we only have 2 dates with MIR, and then we have the 2 dates at OBX. So it's 4 dates, and like I said, we even with OBX, we called promoters back in
Yeah.
December and said, hey, what do you guys have planned? So we try not to plan anything on any other weekends that promoters were planning stuff to try to
Yeah.
be respectful to other people. So
Sometimes it's hard, just there's only so many weekends in the summer, and being where we live, we don't have the best weather. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's very
We,
temperamental.
it's very temperamental. We probably have a solid 3 months of good weather. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to plan around things.
And to be quite honest, Lewis, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work just having flyers made. And I'll give it to one person like Anthony Dotson. That mofo will promote the hell out of ice water. You know what I mean? He'll sell ice water to an Eskimo.
Yeah.
And he does it for the love of the sport. He really does. It's all about promoting and people supporting each other. And I make $0 at it. All the merchandise that I sell, I don't make any money on it. The little bit of money I make, it usually goes back to, because when I have the races at Budds Creek, I have to pay per car, which is
Mhm.
ridiculous. But that's how Royce is. So every entry costs me $25. So
Wow.
typically, whatever I make on the hats and the hoodies is what pays for the cars, and we usually have a full payback. So we'll run it as long as we can, as long as there's support for it, and then time takes its course on some things.
If people want to get some merch from you, can they just contact you directly on Facebook?
Yeah. The best way to get a hold of me is on Facebook, Instagram, and I can just there's not a website yet. I didn't get to the point where there was a demand for it, like Carolina No Time. A lot of times we bring it to the track, and and it's good quality stuff. You got hats, you got hoodies, you got t-shirts. It's good quality stuff.
Yeah.
We're always
So I have the same hat you're wearing right now, and I'm not lying to anybody.
most comfortable hat out there.
Most comfortable fucking hat I have. And I it's funny, like I probably should just get another one from you because I'm afraid to overwear it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, get it dirty and get oil on it or whatever, so I try not to wear it so often, but it is the most comfortable hat I
When I get my hats in, whether I get 40 or 50 or whatever else, I take 4 for myself right away.
own.
Because I wear them everywhere, and they're a flex fit cool hat. They're breathable, and they are so freaking comfortable, and they're
Yeah.
quality. And the bad thing is, and you and I were talking about this today before we got on the show. People are like, oh my god, you want $30 for a hat, dude? They cost me $25.
Yeah.
I'm not making any money on it, but the hats are they're so nice, and just the cost of everything's gone through the roof. I mean, t-shirts back in the day, you could get them at the track for $20. They're costing us 25 to buy them, and for a decent brand. You don't want
Yeah.
to buy. I don't like buying the cheaper brand. You can buy the Gideon or whatever they're called. They're a little cheaper, and you can buy more of them and sell them cheaper. But I like the ones that are comfortable.
No, yeah, the days of, selling a t-shirt for 10, $15 are over. Like it it costs me, I remember it cost me almost $20 to make Nucky shirts. You know what I mean? So I need to sell them for at least 25, $30. You know what I mean?
By the time you pay for the design, if you go through Constant, you pay for the shipping and everything else, you have to sell them for that or you'll lose money.
Yep.
Like I was in Ocean City. We'll take the leave from Black Friday next weekend. No, we don't take a spot. We just talked about that, Pops. There you see the pro mods on his profile picture. We put that on there like 3 years ago. You don't know how to change it out.
Pop. I
So
love
we
pop.
we yeah, it's just things are expensive. We talked about that earlier when you were like I went to Ocean City last year with my son and my little nephew for a little getaway, and I forgot my hat, right? So I had to go to wherever one of those stores is on the boardwalk, and I paid $38 for a hat. Wasn't nearly as nice as this, and it was $38. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna feel bad about selling my hat for $30.
That's crazy.
And the
So
bad thing is, the bad thing is, Lewis, when you go to the track, you get like I'll give you a hat, I'll give somebody whatever. You end up losing money anyway.
yeah, yeah. Let's go back to your win on Saturday. I want to play a video clip for you that you even haven't seen yet.
Oh
Okay.
shit.
Hold on 1 second here.
I'm not getting yelled at or anything, am I? My dad yelling at me?
That's fucking right. That's right. Fuck yeah. Woo! Big Kamakai, baby. Fuck, the steering wheel came off.
What happened there?
So I had a little bit of an issue with the steering rod that goes inside the steering shaft. And let me tell you something. I was death gripping that bad boy racing mode because it came down to like this far. And the whole shaft came out of the inner shaft came out of the outer shaft. And the steering wheel was in my face and it was kind of all over the place at, whatever mile an hour we're going. I can tell you it wasn't slow. So yeah, I was happy to get that thing slowed down and I was a little excited. I didn't, honest to God, I know how fast Mo is. And I said, man, I gotta, and Mo and I joked back and forth the last week, like his daughter's like, hey, my dad was probably eating a sandwich. And I said, yeah, next time you guys got to feed him before you send him up there. But yeah, I had not taking anything from him, but he slept. He slept and we got out on him and that turbo car was hard to come back around.
So I got a couple more clips to show from that race. So the first one is how hyped everyone was when you won, because I think everybody knows how much you struggled last year.
Yeah.
And your win was very well deserved. So give me 1 second here.
Cheers to that damn steering wheel. I've been complaining about that steering wheel for months.
So, and then I'm going to fast forward to the in-car footage. You were a driving son of a bitch Saturday for sure. Hold on 1 sec here. I want to get the right spot. Here we go. So this will show how you left on Mo.
Oh, that's the starting line.
Yep.
That damn parachute stringing away.
That's a parachute string? I thought it was like a cross or something.
it's for pulling the parachute. Oh.
So he almost caught you at the end.
Yeah, I told you that you hear that Pro Charger coming. It was coming.
Yeah. No,
that was a tight race.
Yeah, you definitely did some driving. That's for sure.
I appreciate it. I've always prided myself on being, my girlfriend laughs at me all the time because we drive to dinner and I'm at a stoplight and I'm always like this. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm practicing. She's like, well, you always use that's where my button is. I'm always practicing every place we go. So, hey,
that's
practice
funny.
makes perfect,
No, yeah, it's so for me, I can leave with either hand, right? I primarily like leaving with my left hand, even though I'm right-handed. So, any car that I buy or whatever, usually the trans brake is on the right side. I have to switch it to the left side. So, and I put, so I have 3 drag cars right now, the Chevy 2, and then I have 2 bracket cars. So all of them, I put the trans brake button on the left side and I put the same exact button, the same brand, everything. So everything feels the same.
Yeah, it feels the same.
Yeah.
Melvin said I lied to him. I turned it up. We actually we kept the same tune up in the car throughout the whole finals. I went to Jared and said, Jared, I want to turn this thing up a little bit. I told you about this, Lewis. I said, man, we got Mo. I said, let's bring that ramp in faster and give me some more out the back. And he's like, man, are you sure? And he said, Mike, you're taking a chance. I said, nah, let me try to, let me do my job. Let the car just get down the track. And it was, don't get me wrong, it was not turned down by any means. But we definitely didn't, we didn't turn it all the way up. I mean, it was pretty wicked up, but yeah, even the old man's like, nope, leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Mo said his seat needs to be cleaned after that steering wheel issue.
Oh man, Mo, it was like it came out this far. Like I was like, holy crap! And Mo knows we were motoring down through there, so
Yeah,
a little bit scary. Thank God, by the grace of God, the wind stopped. Right, the wind wasn't bad, but it towed when it came elimination times. The wind stopped.
I was seriously scared for the fast guys to if they were going to pull shoots.
That's why I didn't pull it. Thank God Cecil's so long, and
Yeah.
I didn't pull my chute at all.
Yeah, it's yeah, again, because like if you were to, nothing nothing against OBX, but OBX is very short, like in the
Yes,
shutdown.
Galat is very short. Galat's super short. Beautiful track,
Yeah.
but super short.
But if you would have had those types of wins, there's no way you could have had a race. No way.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, I even talked to Jared on Thursday, and I said, Jared and I were talking because the weather wasn't looking good. And I kept watching like 4 or 5 different weather channels and compiling all the information to make a decision, right? And I told Jared Thursday, I said, Jared, come. He's like, well, I'm worried about, I'm not worried about the car. I'm worried about pulling the chutes. I said, Jared, Cecil is so long. You're not going to need to pull shoots. I said, I promise you, just get in the rig and start coming. And they did, and I'm glad they did,
Oh yeah, that car is one of my favorite cars. It's fucking sounds mean. It's fast. Nobody wants smoke from Magneto. You know what I mean? To be honest, like that was one of the cars I was scared of last year. We never lined up, not even once. You know what I mean? But I kind of wish I held on to my motor a little bit longer so I could have raced Jared. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? But it's definitely.
I can tell you when they and Jared's like he's 100% like legit family to us. I can tell you when they get that thing totally figured out, because they're probably only about 70% figured out right now, and that's just the God's honest truth. That's not me fluffing their feathers a little bit for anybody on the internet. When they get that car figured out, it's already a problem. It's gonna be a real problem.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that's a whole new program. It's only been out, what, 2 years? Not even, a year and a half?
And they it's been about a year and a half. So I met Jared and them. I met Jared, Dorsey, and Timmy, right? I love Timmy to death, but Timmy being Timmy, at a heavy hitters race, I beat Jared in the finals. Same car, but it wasn't painted then. They it had the old combination in it, and we got in the finals, and Jared wiggled, and I went around him. And then after that race, here comes Timmy, right? And I love Timmy. That's how I met them guys. Timmy came over and like, let's run it back. You want to run it back? Let's line it up. How much you want to run for? And I'd hurt the car. We'd hurt a push rod or something. I said, man, I can't. I just the car's hurt. So that's when I met Dorsey, and I talked a little bit, and I met Jared. Jared supported us at a couple of those races, and we decided to do the DMV versus OBX, and that's been a huge success.
Let me tell you something. That is one of my favorite races out of the entire year. One, Dorsey is awesome as a track owner.
Such a good human being.
Such a good person. He cares about his racers. Like, what type of track owner gives out gifts to the racers? Like, he did that, last year or whatever.
Yep, he gave us all gifts.
And then, like, just the hospitality itself, it's so laid back. Everyone's super nice. They just want to put on a good show. And then the big payout, if you get the car count, it's $20,000. Hardly ever you see an Extreme 28s race racing for that kind of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, and then OBX is just awesome in itself. You're by the beach, and we usually rent like an Airbnb or something, near the beach. You get to go in the water, whatever. I mean, it's just an awesome atmosphere.
Yeah, it really is. And then if you do the math on it, and you do a $500 buy-in, at 16 cars, that's $8,000.
Yeah.
Right? 8,000. Correct? Yes.
I think that's
He
right.
yeah. Well, because 1,000 times 16 would be 16,000. So half of that's 8,000. I'm usually pretty good at math.
Yeah.
So $8,000. He paid $20,000 out. $20,000.
That's crazy.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So you talk about giving back. That
Yeah.
man gave back. Now we promoted that and it was a huge success. It was the biggest crowd that OBX has ever had. It kind of put OBX on the map. I shouldn't say put on the map, but it put on the map for small tires. You know, because that's more. It was a bracket track. It was you know, a lot of the big tire guys. But he's not a greedy man by any means. You know, he's very fortunate to have a good family, his son, his brother, and all them behind him. And we just love him, man. And people give us a hard time about, aren't you DMV? Well, them guys are my family, and that's the God's honest truth. You know,
Yeah.
Timmy and his brother and their son and all of them, they're very close to us, and because of the type of people they are and the way they treat us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just an awesome track. Like I said, it's one of my, I would say, top 3 tracks to go to for sure.
Yeah. So what would you consider your top track?
As
You're
far
right,
as
Tom.
as far as like surface, so it's different. So atmosphere, definitely OBX is number 1.
Yep, I agree.
As far as surface, Bradenton. I don't know if you ever raced at Bradenton Motorsports Park.
I have not, but Tommy Lawrence is on here. He said Magneto versus Burton would be the loudest race ever. Yeah, that 100%.
I want to see that race.
Tommy loved. I'm pretty sure Tommy. That's where you went. Tommy and Carter went down there, in the dead heat, 90-some degrees, and went personal best.
Where at?
Which Bradenton.
Yeah, Bradenton. I the beginning of 2023, I went to PB and it was hot as shit. That surface is just so smooth, and then on top of that, Wade is probably one of the best preppers. You know, if that's even a word, track preppers.
Prep man.
Yeah, in the country. It's just, you can go super fast on that track.
I've never been. I've always wanted to go. Is that where they have the end of the what do they call it? Shit. What's the last race of the year?
Snowbirds?
No, I don't. Someone will tell me on here what the last race is. It's not Snowbirds. They call it something else. No Guts, No Glory. No, not No Guts, No Glory.
No Guts, No Glory is in Orlando.
Oh, so that's Orlando? Okay.
Yeah. I've never raced in Orlando, so I'm sure that surface is pretty decent as well. Let's see.
I would have to say my favorite atmosphere track would be OBX. We had the most fun. We feel like family when we go there. It's so laid back, such gentlemen. The people are amazing. Down south, the people are a little bit nicer anyway.
Yeah.
As far as facilities, and I don't want to take away from my home track, Budds Creek, but I love Galat.
I've never raced at Galat, actually.
Really, it's a great flat track. It is short, very wide, very well run. They got an indoor diner there, and the concession stands are all. I mean, the bleachers are awesome. It's just one of my favorite facilities.
Mm-hmm.
As far as surface, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never been on a stickier track than Coastal. That was unreal. You know,
really,
it was unreal. Yeah, I mean, it was insane that what Mass Traction did to that track.
He really knows what he's doing, because like we went fast at Colonial Beach, Custom Tees.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, and we went pretty fast there. Everybody knows about the bumps in it and stuff like that. I don't know if the bumps are still around, because I know like they were like repairing it and things like that. We went super fast on that track because Brandon was prepping.
That I've never seen. This is not taking anything away from little Jimmy Bradshaw and the other guys that prep, because they're amazing also. But I've never seen somebody work so hard, and he does it typically by himself. And he's such a good person. He talks to the racers. He listens. He helps. It really. We were scared. We went down there, and Friday night was a complete bust. The water was coming through the track. No, we couldn't move 5 feet, and we were like, "Holy crap, what's going on?" We were starting to get frustrated. And then I talked to Brandon on Saturday. The water stopped seeping, and man, you can ask Jared if Jared's still on here. That track was unreal, unreal.
Huh.
It needs some things done to it to improve it, which a lot of tracks do. But as far as that surface that day, never had a stickier surface.
How was the energy at that track? Because I saw a huge crowd.
It was really good. It was really good. That's another thing too, which is kind of funny. People don't talk about it, but the food was amazing. They had a ton of food vendors, and
Mhm.
I've never been anywhere to a track or event that had so much diversity in food and the quality of food. It was incredible. Like I think we all gained like 25 pounds just eating from Friday, Saturday. But the energy was great. They have a new manager. He was really good to deal with. Yeah, it just overall it was a good event. It was a good event. People were scared because, like I said, because of Friday. But once Saturday came, I don't think the energy was as high as it was at Cecil, because I
Mhm.
was sitting in my pits when Gordo ran the Naked Lady, and
Mhm.
it sounded like a football game, right? The roar of the crowd was huge.
Right.
So I think it was close. It was comparable, but I think as far as energy, I think Cecil might have a little. It's the second race too. People are a little more into it. Torsi and Tim are genuine people, very good guys. Absolutely, Pat. They welcome anybody with open arms. So
Yeah.
we will be heading back. That's MR the South for the records. We'll be heading back to OBX May 3rd and 4th is the DMV versus OBX.
Yeah. I'm trying to make that race. Not with my car. It definitely won't be ready by then. But I just want to make it personally, just to show my support and things like that. But I love OBX in general, just like the area and stuff. So
And the
here's a
second race we had, they fought some weird weather, man. We had a pretty good car count, pretty good show up,
yeah.
but we fought some weird ass weather, and poor Dorsey and them, they worked their butts off. And it wasn't like Cecil where it rained and that track turnaround was unreal. It just was it was like a misty, even when the rain stopped, the air was so wet, and they did
Yeah.
the best. They did the best they possibly could.
So if you guys watch my YouTube channel, again, shameless plug, youtube.com at the race show, you will see, because I was driving Jared Long's car,
Yep.
the Mustang, you will see me get stopped 3 times to make a run, because it was misting on and
Yep.
off all day,
Yep.
and I was literally in the car like, what the F? Like, you know what I mean? So Don was just like, we get stopped one more time, like
That's it. Yeah.
like we're going back to the pits. And that's what we did. We literally just went back to the pits because we got stopped 3 times making a run, because it would stop, they would dry off the track. We were literally probably in the staging lanes, or not even in the staging lanes. We're like in the burnout box for
Yeah,
probably
sitting
like
right
an hour.
there.
It was crazy. And I think that's one of the main reasons why, if you were at that race or watching my YouTube channel, you saw I crashed that car. That's one of the main reasons why that car crashed.
Yeah.
Is because of the weather. It had nothing to do with the track prep. They
Oh
did
no,
everything they could.
they made the track safe. It wasn't like they sent us out there on a surface that was bad. It was just
Yeah,
in the air.
it was in the air. That car wasn't working as well as it should. But it just got out of control. There was nothing I can do. You know what I mean? But it was nothing against OBX in any way.
Oh no, no,
They
not at
were,
all.
yeah, they were working hard, on that track surface. So here's a hard question for you.
Uh oh.
Um, what's what do you think grudge racing is missing? If you can pick out anything, if let's just say Ricky Wilson ran a grudge series, kind of like how Big Fred does, or Lance, what do you think is missing? Well, you
Yeah,
kind of do run a grudge series, but only a
yeah. I mean,
couple events. You know what I
yeah. I
mean?
mean,
But
I might do one grudge race, an event. I'm not a big grudge racer, but I like to do. I got some guys that I want to race against, and I'll do like one because I'm not a big money racer anyway. I'd make the most I'll run for is like $2,500. So I'll do like one event. I'm a shootout guy. What do I think it's missing? Um, honest to God, and I don't want to insult anybody. I, I'm not sure it's missing or it's just maybe an issue with grudge racing, because I think people need to stop focusing so much on these huge pots and worried about taking a loss. I mean, there's so many guys like Dotson, they don't give a fuck. They're going to go out there and they're going to race, and they take a loss, they take a loss. So I think the biggest thing is they're just missing the competitiveness of just racing. You know, don't lose so many races based on, you know, whether someone's going to talk trash or someone, you know, you're going to run a $10,000 pot up. So you need to get back down to the roots of like, hey, let's just race. You know,
Yeah.
let's stop, because at the end of the day, a lot of these guys stip it so much. You might as well go fucking class racing.
Yeah.
You know what happened to the days when the old days with the Freeman brothers? I don't know if you know who they are.
Yeah.
The Freeman boys. You know, they just fucking grudge raced. You showed up and you ran what you had. You run what you brung, right? And Brian is right. Organization is one of the biggest, and I didn't even think about that. Organization is huge. I think Fred and them did a really good job on this last race. I think it was run the way it needs to be run. If they do that, they'll have so much more success
Yes.
than going down and having such a mockery of an event. I mean, I've
Yeah.
been to quite a few of them where I'm like, I'm never going back.
Yeah.
You know, and
And we talked about this earlier today
Yep.
when we were on the phone. Like it was a combination, you know, of Big Fred and a combination of Jim Halsey.
Yep.
Jim don't fucking play. You
Nope.
know, we start at this time, we end at this time, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, he'll do whatever it takes. Jim will do whatever it takes to get the track ready. You know, get it prepped. You know, if there's an oil down, whatever. You know, they do it quick. You know, things like that. But
And I think that's where you struggle with guys like us that are crossover racers. That's what I'll call it, right? There's there's probably not a better description than to call you a crossover racer, where you cross over from class racing to grudge racing. It's not taking anything away from the grudge, because I love no time. I love it. You and I talked about it today. I'm like, dude, you got to say no time. And I understand the reasons why you're the direction you're might be going in, but I think the biggest thing is you go from a PDRA or an X275 and stuff like that. They are run very good. And
Yeah.
it's not a you know, I think a lot of people that are in the scene take it as like, well, you're telling me what to do. No, it's not that. It's only helping.
Yeah.
You know, you get this organization, you say, okay, we're going to run the small tires at 6 o'clock. After the last car goes, you have 1 hour. And that's what you do. If they don't make it up there within an hour and 10, then they don't run.
Yep.
And I think people will start to appreciate that, because all the grudge races got off at Halsey's and Big Fred's race, right? It was run the right way. Cars need to be in the lanes and run in 15 minutes. Mike, what do you mean? Not like turn around in 15 minutes. You mean like up in the lanes and then run through the lanes?
Yeah, I think he means like, you know, if they're called to the lanes, they need to obviously, you know, obviously there's always like you know, somebody might break, might be an oil down or whatever. But I think if there's not, you know, I agree with Mike, you know, 15 minutes tops. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, staying in the lanes for an hour or whatever
is ridiculous. And we've done that. We've sat in the lanes for 2 hours. You were with us before. I'm not going to say what race it is, but we've been in lanes. We've been in the lanes for 2-3 hours waiting because it was just not run correctly.
Right.
And there's my dog, a little Frenchie. Gosh. Crazy dog. About 12 pounds. Called then ran Mike. So yeah, last race in Alabama was on point. Let me let him out so he'll stop.
Yeah, no problem. So guys, just remember, like this, comment, share it. You know, the more activity we get, even if you liked it already, keep liking it. The more activity we get on this, it pumps up the algorithm, and we can continue to do this every week. But what has been the most exciting grudge race you ever had? Or maybe not the most exciting, but like real grudge race, like you were like excited to beat that person.
You know, honest to God, probably the biggest grudge I had was, and I lost, was against Lucy, right? I mean, you and I both know. I mean, I got we have our own personal differences, and that's probably the biggest grudge I've had was against that car, and we lost. We lost, and we took the loss like men and paid the money and moved on from it. I think the most exciting one was with Mo. I mean, that was the most exciting because Mo and his people are such good people. We laugh, we joke in the lanes, we kid around, we talk on Facebook and everything else. But to have that close of a race, that was probably the most exciting.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, so I guess this year, what do you have in store? What are your goals? You know what I mean? You technically in the Big Fred Production series, you're in the points lead.
Yeah, I got to figure out how the points work, but yeah, we're going to go into the to the second race leading the points. So, I'd like to try to run all the event and do well in that series. It's going to be super tough because you got people like Don Burton, you got Magneto, you got Brendan Mills who's going to be fast. I mean, there's a lot of fast guys in there, but it's all about consistency and driving. So we think this year we'll do okay. You know us very well. You know the car, the combination very well. Are we going to be the fastest? No, but we're gonna damn sure give them hell. I can promise you that.
I mean, the combination you have is not going to lie. Everyone didn't believe us when we had it. It's literally a street car combination. It's a hydraulic roller LS
Yep.
that runs water through it. You know what I mean? Like you can literally drive your car on the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And people never believed us. They're like, no way, blah blah blah. That's a filled block. Blah blah. No, it's amazing what that motor can do. And shout out to Mike Lau Racing Engines. He built that motor, and I've never really taken that motor apart when I had it. Just for like little maintenance stuff here and there.
Yeah.
In between seasons. But it's never really been apart. Like the short block's never been apart, nothing like that. And Don last year took out a rod cap to look at the bearings and stuff, and he's like, this thing looks perfect.
Yeah. The funny thing is, what's not funny is, most people know that we bought the combo from you, right? We bought the combo from you. We blew our motor up. We needed something to go to OBX. You had an opportunity to get your combination, and you said, "Hey, you're my boy. I'm going to hook you up. Do you want this combination?" I said, "Fuck yeah, I want it. Let's get it going." We put it in. We went to OBX, and it wasn't the motor combination. It wasn't the turbo, nothing else. We had two wastegates that were hanging open and wouldn't build boost. But that little combination is proven, right? And it's the thing is, there's a couple other guys out there on the internet that are running super, super fast with that same kind of, and we're not going to talk cubic inches or anything else with turbo sizes, but are going fast with that little combo. And what's really nice is I'm not checking valves in between rounds. Our other motor was solid, was a solid lifter, and checking valves and this and that, and you're changing rods out. Now we're going to be back to that same scenario with the Noonan when the Noonan's done. But it's going to be hard to take that motor out of that car. I think we're going to leave that motor in that car. I think
I was just telling you before this stream started or this podcast started. I was just telling you, I was like, I kind of regret selling you that motor because we could have been out right now, racing.
Oh yeah, and competitive.
And competitive, and I asked Don before we switched to the Hemi setup. I'm like, you really sure like you want to go this route? Because like we don't have to do a goddamn thing. We just have to fill it up with gas and water and just go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it was super simple and easy. And I think that's why we had so much success last year, is because we had so much time in between rounds. We didn't have to do much. You know what I mean? It was very relaxed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's like, I was talking to my father about it. Like I said, it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
It's we did break a rocker arm last year on it, but it's because we were having sync problems. The thing was zinging through the roof and hitting the rev limiter, and it was just violent. But yeah, it's we're happy with it. You can't have it back. Again,
like seeing you win, I was super happy. I was probably the guy who jumped the highest in the air. You know what I mean? When you won.
Well,
So.
besides Gordo tackling my father and about taking.
Oh, hold on. I think I got a video of that. Hold on 1 second here. Let's see here. Your dad literally fell on the ground.
And now he's got to go have back surgery and everything else. Thanks, Gordo.
Actually, no, I don't have the video of it. I think I saw it on 302 Racing Media of Gordo tackling your dad, and your dad falls to the ground, and he's just like with his hands and feet like going like this, like,
yeah,
like
he's lucky.
like
He's
some kind
lucky
of
for
animal. Oh man. But anything before we end this, anything you want to plug, anything you want to say?
Yeah, just I mean we have the Door Wars coming up, not this Friday and Saturday, next Friday and Saturday. We have a 275 heavy hitters 275. It's 500 to enter, full payback. And then we have, of course, the heavy hitter street that usually fills up 16, 18 cars. It's 125 to enter, full payback. That's not this week and the following weekend. And then after that, it's DMV versus OBX. DMV invades OBX. That is May 3rd and 4th. It's 20,000 to win. It's called Wild 275s is what we called it this year. It's called Border Wars is the name of the event. So the border of the states.
Right.
And then we have a limited 275, which is basically like the heavy hitter street, but it's the South version of that. So they're gonna run that event limited 275, and then towards the end of the year we're gonna have the heavy hitter street run the limited 275.
Nice.
So it's gonna be a battle, but that's it. You can get our heavy hitters hats. You can get a hold of me on Facebook. We have hoodies and T-shirts and beanies and stuff like that. So that always helps go towards whatever money we have towards the events.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for joining in with us.
Absolutely, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, we're gonna try to do this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. So tune in next week. I don't have a guest lined up yet, but I have a good idea of who I'm going to ask.
Oh, good. You have to tell me tomorrow. I'll keep it quiet.
So,
now, can people watch this again on the live?
Yeah.
Save it?
So just go to watch it again. Go on to youtube.com at The Race Show, and you can go to my Facebook. Obviously, it's public. DMV Grudge. You can watch it. Also, Instagram. Lewis M_racing. And I'm going to also figure out how to upload this to Spotify. So
awesome.
You'll be able to listen to this on Spotify. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for your comments, likes, hearts, all that fun stuff. I'm Luis Martinez, Ricky Wilson, driver of Kamakai, over and out. See you guys later.